All right, let's dive into something that I think a lot of our listeners have probably heard about, but maybe don't know too much about. CNC rapid prototyping. If you're thinking about launching your own manufacturing business, this is something you need to know about.
Yeah, this is really interesting because it used to be, CNC machining was this expensive and complex thing, but now with rapid prototyping, it's become a lot more accessible.
Yeah, exactly. And for you, that means you can actually like get your hands on a real physical prototype
Yeah.
of your idea relatively affordably and quickly.
Yeah, one of the really cool things about it is that the machines can work all the time,
Yeah.
24/7. So you don't have to, just speeds the whole process up.
Yeah, that speed is really important these days with, getting things out there. So can we just like take a step back and like how does this whole thing work? How does CNC rapid prototyping actually work?
Yeah, so it all starts with a digital design.
Yeah.
You use CAD/CAM software. That
Yeah.
software not only lets you design the product in 3D, but it also translates those designs
Right.
into instructions for the CNC machine.
So it's like the machine is reading a recipe,
Exactly.
a set of instructions, and just like making the thing.
Yeah, and that's one of the big advantages because it's so precise. You have fewer errors, you don't waste as much material, and ultimately you save money.
Okay, so we've talked about the precision, the speed, the cost savings. Is there anything else?
Well, the really interesting thing here is it's not just about the technology. It's about the partnerships that you form with the right suppliers.
Oh, so it's not just about buying a machine.
No,
There's a human element to this as well.
exactly.
Mhm.
Choosing the right CNC supplier can be the difference between success and failure.
Okay, so what are we looking for in a good supplier?
Well, first and foremost, you want to look for technical expertise.
Hmm.
They need to have a deep understanding of that CAD/CAM software. But it goes beyond that.
So it's not just about knowing how to operate the machine.
No, they need to understand your vision. They need to be able to communicate effectively with you.
Okay.
And they need to be fluent in the language of manufacturing.
Gotcha. So technical expertise and communication. Anything else?
Materials. They need to have a deep understanding of different materials.
Hmm.
Metals, plastics, composites, all of that.
So they can kind of help me pick the right material for the thing that I'm making.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then the other thing is problem solving. The best suppliers are master problem solvers. They can anticipate issues, they can identify roadblocks, and they can come up with solutions.
That's great. So you're not just building a product, they're helping you perfect it.
Exactly.
But how does this apply to like a bigger business? Like we're talking about prototypes, but what about actually like getting a product out into the world?
That's a great question. And that's where this partnership really shines.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the advantages of working with a CNC supplier beyond just the prototype phase.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we jumped into this next part, we were talking about how having a CNC supplier can be a game changer, not just for prototyping, but for like your whole business.
Exactly. It's about, letting them handle the really complex CNC stuff. So you can focus on your product, your brand, all that stuff.
Okay, so like what are the like real world advantages?
Well, one of the biggest is cost. CNC suppliers, they get bulk discounts on materials. They have these like really streamlined processes,
Hmm.
which means lower costs for you.
Okay, but are there like any downsides or like things I should be aware of?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, like anything else, it takes time and energy to find the right supplier, and build a good relationship with them.
So it's like any relationship.
Yeah.
You got to put in the time.
Exactly. You really want to find someone who gets your vision and wants to work with you.
Okay, so I found the perfect supplier. They're amazing. How do I make sure that this relationship is like really good?
Communication. Be really clear about your budget,
Yeah.
your timeline. You know what quality you're looking for. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
So it's a two-way street.
Exactly.
We're both, working together.
Yeah, and trust is a big part of it.
Right.
So how do you build that trust?
Well, you got to do your research right.
Yeah.
Check
Yeah.
their references, see what other people are saying.
Exactly. Look at their past work.
Yeah.
Talk to them. Really get a sense of how they approach problems.
It's like a first date for your business.
Yeah,
You got to make sure there's that connection.
exactly. And once you find that partner,
Yeah.
it's all about keeping that relationship strong. Show them that you appreciate them. Celebrate the successes together.
Yeah. I like that. It's more than just like a business transaction.
Yeah, it's a partnership.
Both of you are going to succeed together.
Exactly like your source material says. Choosing the right CNC prototyping supplier helps you build a long-term relationship.
So we talked about costs and efficiency. What are some other advantages?
They can give you advice on the whole process. They've seen it all. They know what works and what doesn't.
So they're kind of like a guide through this whole world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they might even know about new materials or technologies that you haven't even heard of.
So you're getting like this extra brain to help you.
Yeah. And you also get peace of mind, knowing that you have a reliable partner who's going to get the job done.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about the people involved. We've been talking a lot about the machines, but there are skilled engineers, designers, technicians. They're all part of this.
Yeah, that's important. It's easy to get caught up in like the technology. But the people are the ones who are actually making this happen.
Exactly. Behind every great prototype is a team of talented people.
Okay, so we've talked about the tech, the partnerships, the people. I feel like we've covered the whole CNC universe. So we've learned a lot in this deep dive about, the technology, the partnerships, all that stuff. But what gets you most excited about the future of all this?
You know what I think is really cool is that this whole thing is getting a lot easier to use.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're starting to see desktop CNC machines and cloud-based software. That makes it so much easier for people to, you know, just get started with this stuff.
So it's not just for the big companies anymore.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine a future where anyone can just,
Yeah.
design and create whatever they want.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and as the technology gets better, we're going to see even more advancements, like AI and machine learning.
Yeah.
That's going to make it even more powerful.
Okay, so that all sounds really cool, but
Okay.
for someone who's just starting out, where do they even begin?
Well, the first step is just to start learning. There are so many resources available online, tutorials, videos, communities. Just dive in and,
Yep.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
So just be curious and, don't be intimidated by all the technical stuff.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are places you can go,
Yeah.
maker spaces, workshops, where you can connect with other people and learn from them.
So it's like anything else, the more you practice, the better you get.
Yeah. And the most important thing is to have fun with it. CNC machining can be really rewarding. You get to take your ideas and make them real.
Yeah, that's a great point. So I think it's time to wrap things up. But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. We've talked about, the technology and the partnerships and the future of all this. But now it's your turn.
Yeah. What's that one product idea that you've always wanted to create? Don't just dream about it. Go out there and build it.
That's great advice. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of CNC rapid prototyping. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep creating.